Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Al Quarles, and you're now listening to Daily Sports Talk with your host, Al Quarles. I want to say thank you for all those emails and responses that I got from yesterday about the start of the show. So we're gonna get started talking about the Daily Show. Sports talk about what's going on in the world of sports today. But before we get started, we're going to run down some quick scores for those, just in case, for those who missed it from yesterday. So let's start with Major League Baseball, where the Braves beat the Phillies 7-4. The Cardinals beat the Pirates 1-0. The Rockies beat the Giants 9-2. The Nationals beat the Dodgers 8-5. The Mariners beat the A's 2-1. The Yankees, who starting to roll, beat the Red Sox 5-1. The Orioles, who stay continuously hot right now, they won't beat the Reds 6-0. The Indians blanked the Tigers 7-0. The Mets beat the Marlins 4-3. Blue Jays beat the Rays 4. Cubs beat the Brewers 6-2. Astros beat the Angels 4-1. Royals beat the Rangers 4-1. Twins beat the White Sox 11-4, and the Diamondbacks beat the Padres by the score of 6-1. And in soccer, of course, the U.S. beat Czech Republic by the score of 1-0, and Argentina beats Germany by the final score of 4-2. So now that we got the scores out the way, let's get started and start talking about what's the start of something big that's about to happen, starting with tonight, which is the start of the actual NFL season. It begins with the Packers versus the Seahawks tonight, starting tonight. Real quick, I just have to say that for whatever reason, as much as I like the Seahawks returning to the Super Bowl, let me take that back. I have them, to be honest, this is the pre-matchup of my pick for the NFC Finals. I really believe that the NFC, these two teams, whoever wins out of these two teams in the finals will win the actual Super Bowl. So this is really a very important series, not just a very important start of this of the season for both teams, especially the Packers, because they want to prove that they can actually beat the Seahawks. Seahawks is just looking to repeat from last year's performance. So this will be very interesting to see what they can do. Especially, I'm interested to see how the Packers are stacked up against the Seahawks. So I really believe that this game is going to be your NFC conference matchup. And I really believe whoever takes this is really a tale of two teams, and I believe whoever will come out of this will be it's going to be real good for them. Now let's talk about one of the things that I mentioned about yesterday, which is the whole Ray McDonald situation with the San Francisco 49ers. Now, from the information that I'm gathering is, of course, that according to reports that Jim Harbaugh, who is the actual coach of the San Francisco 49ers, he dismissed the notion Wednesday that, that someone would make a judgment in regards to Ray McDonald in his future. As you're well aware, Ray McDonald was charged with domestic abuse, domestic violence, and he just posted bail for $25,000. The league hasn't really come down on what they're going to do with Ray McDonald. To be honest, a lot of people is criticizing the fact that how come the 49ers haven't done that as well. The whole thing about the Ray Rice situation really left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And I think that they have to understand that, each case is completely different. Now, with Ray McDonald's, and I'm not trying to defend what the San Francisco 49ers are doing or what Coach Harbaugh is doing at this particular point, but I think what it is that he's just waiting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if he's waiting to see what the courts is going to do in regards to whatever process, whatever the court is going to do in regards to how they're going to handle the Ray McDonald situation before he steps in. I don't understand. I know a lot of people would rather have the 49ers take a proactive approach and not have Harbaugh I mean, have Ray McDonald not even play, but there's a possibility that he will play in week 1. And I would be very interested to see if they will allow him to play. I think the problem is that that a lot of people just want to rush into something and bring out justice for the person that got abused. But as it's a catch-22, and you really put in the 49ers in a position to do something instead of not listening to all the facts. Now, granted, I'm not agreeing with what Ray McDonald's done, of course, but I think that Harbaugh doesn't want the management, the organization as a whole doesn't want to go into something that is something that's they're going to the point where they're letting the courts decide whether or not what to do with the whole Ray McDonald situation, and they really just play in a wait and see approach, which is understandable when you think about it. Organizations today, they really value the people that they bring in. They have to be careful, of course, of who they bring in, especially with people that have past history about domestic abuse, and they really have to watch how they handle this situation going forward, because not only are not only are fans are looking at it, the players are looking at it as well. And it all depends on how you handle the situation. And we could go back to talk about how the whole Donald Sterling situation was as well, when the NBA was, how they handled that whole Donald Sterling situation. As far as if organization doesn't handle things the right way, you get people that's within the organization having concerns about how this is going to affect them down the road. You saw how the Clippers team and the Clippers team players and Doc Rivers, how they boycotted. They did a boycott of sorts while they was in the playoffs. They didn't agree with the owner. They came in with their shirts inside out. Some people was talking about, hey, I don't even think I would play for this team if if the owner is still a part of the ownership, if Donald Sterling was still owner. And, that's something that you're not just hurting the fan base, even though a lot of fans really would want to see superstars come in, but they also understand that you got to handle the situation more so as a business of some sorts. And you got to make sure that you handle it with discreet where that everybody is in agreement with you. Sometimes you can't rush into something and jeopardize not only the relationship you have with your fans, but the relationship you have with your players or players that may want to play with the organization. So I think it's a delicate situation, and I really believe that down the road that's something that the organization or any organization will have to watch. You don't want your employees to have a bad taste in their mouth saying that I cannot trust this organization, or if players may want to, you're trying to recruit players, and they say, well, based on the past history you have with handling players, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be a part with a team or organization that I could trust. And the last thing you want to do as part of an organization that you're trying to recruit is lose trust with your players. So I think that it's a small step. It's a very slippery slope for organizations, but if you manage it properly, I really believe that they could actually something good could come out of it, where it's an agreement for both parties to complete. Because as an organization, your main purpose is also create fan base, keep the fans that's there as a sports organization, but you also want you also want to recruit players to come in to make your organization the best organization possible, to win those championships, to have that solidarity, that trust in you. I mean, I hate to go back to one of the teams, but being a good example, but the Spurs is like that. They all deal with teamwork. Now, you would never see something like that happen where there's a problem with someone's having a issue outside of the team where law enforcement is brought into play. Because if that's the case, the team probably wouldn't even tolerate that and don't mind getting rid of that person. That's it's a catch-22 for organizations as a whole, but hopefully they can work towards something work towards something where it builds that camaraderie with the players and also keep the fan base coming in as being the number one thing. So I can understand that San Francisco defending Ray McDonald right now because there's not really I can understand it. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I do understand. But they're only trying to protect the player that is a part of their team. And this is something that's really going to hit home to a lot of teams. San Francisco is not going to be the first one. Baltimore Ravens is not going to be your first one. You have players in the NFL that, that this is something that is not out of the norm for organizations. Now, how they handle it, though, is going to be whether or how they handle it is really going to be the key for organizations going forward. How they deal with people that have those type of issues, whether it's domestic abuse or DWIs or anything at this particular point, because this is important. The league is taking a step in the right direction and focusing on these type of players because they do not want these players to be representing the NFL when you have these type of players that can't control their actions off the field. And I think that's the step where the league is going. How the organization handles it, how the players union handles it is another story. Hopefully down the road they could be able to manage this, or by all means not have these players come in at all who has a history of that. It's a step for the NFL. Hopefully they could do something with it to take the ball and run with it. Now, in real quick, going back to what I was talking about, the Packers and the Seahawks start tonight. This is really my pick again is for the NFC championship. It's really just the NFC championship game. This is a must-see TV game right now, and this is the first game of the season, so you cannot help to be excited to see what's going to happen from this coming on. More importantly for myself, for the simple fact is I have Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy sports league, so this is really important to see how this is going to set the tone for my league going forward. But real quick, I do have these, like I said before, I do have these two teams in the NFC Championship game, but there is a sleeper team that I do have to agree that I may have to look into. Of course, you have the 49ers, but I really believe that they took a step back. But I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Real quick, side note, as far as what else is going on, the NBA. Real quick, the Steven Adams situation with I forgot the person's name. It'll come to me. But Team USA is not afraid of anybody. Team USA and Spain, I said yesterday, is going to be my picks. You see Spain being the only team at this particular point that have competition with Team USA. It'll be interesting to see at the knockout round who's going to actually. I really don't see any other team knocking out Team USA at this point, but I am interested to see how the other teams perform as a whole. Defense is key, and USA is teaching that right now, that defense is key. That's how they're winning all these games, is by playing great defense. Coach K is really a great coach. I'm kind of shocked that he does. I'm more shocked the fact that he doesn't want to go into the NBA, because I really believe that he could be that next coach to take it to the next level. But I'm getting sidetracked here. Team USA at this particular point is the favorite to beat, and I really, outside of Spain, I really don't see. I would be shocked if anybody else actually comes out away with a win against Team USA. So that's really all much I wanted to talk to you about the NBA. I'll get more into that once the NBA season starts. But getting back to the NFL. As much as I like to say that, I already picked my two as Green Bay and as well as Seattle being into the conference finals. Unfortunately, as much as I see them in the conference finals, the one team that was there last year that I don't see this year, unfortunately, will be the Denver Broncos. I do not see them in the AFC conference. I mean, the AFC conference championship this year. I know a lot of people are saying, I'm going out of a limb. Okay, I'm gonna pick a different team because I just don't have the confidence that they will make it back this year. I have them taking a step back, maybe the semifinals, but I do not have them reaching the conference finals this year. I'm going to go on a limb and say I'm actually have Kansas City beating out the Broncos. Something about it just seems like they have more of a chip on their shoulder. And I think age is really going to take its toll on the Broncos. Not so much the whole Wes Walker situation, because I'm pretty sure Peyton Manning and the Broncos can do what they need is necessary to handle, to adapt to not having Wes Walker the first 4 games. But I really believe that it's going to be telling, as far as the record is concerned, how much of an effect Wes Walker was for the Broncos. So with that in mind, I believe Kansas City is going to take this opportunity to actually have the top record in that division. It's a leap. I really believe that, but I really believe that Kansas City may take that step forward into the right direction and actually winning the division this year. Now, who I have Kansas City playing, that is a different story. I want it to be the Broncos, but I don't think it's going to be the Broncos. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to I think it's going to be between Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm really still going to stick with the Patriots. Their team is too loyal for me right now. Age is not really an effect this year. Gronkowski is really going to be the X factor for me. If he stays healthy, I really believe that the Patriots is going to come back, and they're going to be in the actual finals, the conference finals, along with Kansas City. Now, like I said before, my dark horse is Kansas City. My dark horse will be, of course, the Broncos, but for whatever reason, I just do not see them making it all the way. That's just my prediction. I know people they're gonna come at me with questions and tweets and comments saying, hey, Broncos is gonna win it all this year, and I can understand that. I'm not gonna say that they're not. I can understand them actually making it. I would not be surprised if they make it to the Super Bowl and actually win it. But I also believe that there is someone is gonna knock them off eventually, and I really believe that the Broncos, as much as I like the Broncos, I really don't see them being that team. I really don't. To be honest, my also dark sleeper on the AFC is also the Colts. I really believe the Colts have something special going as well. I'll put the Colts up there. Those really are my top 4 teams: Patriots, Colts, Chiefs, and the Broncos. And I really believe that it's going to come down to the Chiefs. I said it. I'm saying it right now. It's going to come down to the Chiefs and the Patriots. But I would not be surprised if any of those 4 teams make it to the conference finals and to the Super Bowl. So those are my 4 picks. This is really exciting. The NFL is starting. People, this is it. All those that have fantasy leagues, pay attention. This is going to be an exciting NFL season with all these changes that happen. Really am interested to see what's going to happen. Side note, since I'm here in New Jersey area, New York area, it would not be it would be wrong if I don't give my predictions about the Giants and the Jets. Real quick, Giants. All right, I see them battling with the Cowboys for the bottom of the division. I see them getting no more than 4 wins. With all due respect to the West Coast offense, it's a new offense. Preseason, you had a 5-0 record. I can understand that. That's fine. But when it really matters in the regular season, you haven't convinced me enough to see where your offense is, from your offense side, definitely, to let me know that you're going to do some type of damage, even in the division. I need to see more. Your first week, you're talking about this is still a process going on. That's all well and good. My question to you is that why not simplify it so that it's easy enough for the Giants to do the things that is necessary to get them wins, or at least get the offense going, especially the passing game. The passing situation I have really concerns about, and it's not because of Eli Manning. Everybody's saying it could be the system that's being adapted to it. I just don't see enough. The offensive line is definitely not where it needs to be for me to convince me that you're going to do something in your division. So, with that being said, I really believe that and the reason why I put you there in the same categories as the Cowboys is the same reason why I feel the same way about your offense, the same way I feel about Dallas's defense. So, to be honest, I put y'all in the same comparison. So, I really believe that you guys, as far as the Giants is concerned, they have a lot of work to do. And now maybe they'll pick up steam in the mid-season. As of right now, I just don't see that yet. And until I actually see it in the season, the whole preseason, the 5-0 record is out the window. It's what you do in the regular season that counts. And I really believe that that's something that you have to focus on. And until I see that, that's why I have you down at the bottom. I see Dallas and just Giants. I'm putting Dallas in there because y'all gonna have. I believe y'all gonna have the same identical record of a 6-win team. I see Washington being an 8 or 9 win team at the most, with the Eagles up there with no more than a 9 to 10 plus win team, and they're gonna win the division. So the Jets, I believe, will be in competition with the Patriots for that division. I really believe that they're going to do some damage. They're going to give the Patriots a run in that division. I really believe them being definitely a 9-win team at the most. And they're taking steps ahead, some great steps ahead. Even though that their secondary is really suspect. I really believe that that's something that they can find before the season starts, or hopefully they'll find a gem in the players that they have. But I really believe that their offense is definitely improved to a point where they can become at least a 9-win team. Okay, so like I said, my predictions is I really believe my predictions are there's some dark horses, of course, but in actuality, this is the start of the NFL. You gotta be excited about what's going to take place in the NFL, and I am definitely extremely excited about that. So I will be keeping tabs about everything. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. We're going to talk about the other things as well, other predictions. I'll probably go down the whole list of total wins for each team sometime tomorrow, starting with each division. Actually, I will start doing that. I will start doing that starting tomorrow. So just to keep y'all guys up to date. So again, I want to thank y'all. This has been Daily Sports Talk. You'll catch me tomorrow around the same time at 11. You could find this also on iTunes as well. You can also find it on a podcast, on my podcast. I will send out the links for every information. You can hit me up on Twitter. I am Al Quarles. Again, you see it right there. IAMALQUARLES. You can also find me on Google Plus. This is where I do my Google Plus hangouts. I'd like to thank Google Plus for all the people. You can also catch me usually on Wednesday nights, guys talking sports. I have a panel here. We're going to talk about other sports topics as well as the sports issues news that's going on in the world today. So you can catch us there as well. But we're going to have a special edition tonight. We'll have my friends join me, and we're going to start talking about the Daily Sports Talk, as well as talking sports, the NFL, probably get some of their predictions as well. Again, this is Al Quarles. You can reach me here same time tomorrow. All right, talk to y'all again. You guys take it easy.